Hello and welcome in to On the River with the Rafters, presented by Point Brewery. I'm Austin Thomas. Joining me today, as you can see, is Fletcher Anderson. He is going to be our TV play-by-play personality for the year. And on the radio side, that's where you've got me coming in. So our two play-by-play broadcasters for the season, we're going to be talking it up today, kind of previewing you guys on the season and what we're excited for, and doing a little bit of introductions of ourselves as well. Obviously, you've seen me a couple times doing some of those interviews with, of course, both Ziggy and Mike Spears, our pitching coach. So you've got to see my face a little bit, but you don't really know a lot about me. Obviously, Fletcher here, you're going to see a lot of him as well. So I think it's a great time to go ahead and give us some introductions of ourselves. But first off, Fletcher, how's it been going for you?
Well, it's been great. I'm happy to finally get introduced here. Like you say, you've been around a little bit, so I know I'm the second face you'll see. And sometimes my dad will say I have a face for radio, but I'll be on the TV broadcast, so you'll be seeing a lot of me, like you said.
I'll say you got a face for TV. Come on now. Come on now. Oh man, but excited to have you broadcasting with us along with myself, and obviously we'll be working together a lot throughout the season. And you are at Arizona State, right?
Yes, I'm just finishing up right now. I moved back to Minnesota, where I'm originally from, in December, and yeah, I spent 3.5 years at Arizona State, and it was some of the best time of my life, especially this last year down there with the football team and all that. That was pretty awesome.
So we've kind of got an outline that we're going to be going off of for today's show, and I think the first question I kind of want to do a back and forth here, where you get to answer the question, and then I'll kind of go ahead and answer the question. The first question that we got for kind of the both of us, we're going to introduce ourselves a little bit, and first off, I want to know one how you got into baseball, and then I'll go ahead and kind of explain the same from my side.
Well, for me, I mean, I think it's a little bit of two different things. Where one, obviously, I feel like everybody grows up playing like t-ball into the little kid baseball, and I played all the way up through high school, not super high level, but I always loved the game. Just like the thinking aspect of it, I thought it was so fun. Just having to know all the different situations, and then obviously being from Minnesota, I grew up a big Twins fan, and yeah, those like 2010s ish teams that always lost to the Yankees in the playoffs. I grew up loving those pinstripes instead of the ones in New York that were a little bit better than us.
Yeah, so the Twins, your favorite team.
Yes.
Who's your least favorite team in the MLB?
My least favorite team, probably the Yankees.
Okay,
I don't
okay.
know why I thought about that for so long.
I thought for a second you might say the Royals because that happens to be my favorite team. So
Oh,
I had to double check. I wasn't
yeah. No,
sure,
no, no.
wasn't sure, but had to at least check in with you
Hmm.
about that. And as for me, it's kind of a similar thing. I grew up and one of the first sports that I learned how to play, my family put me right into it was baseball, playing that T-ball and kind of making your way up through the different levels throughout your years. And I always just had so much fun playing the game for one, and then I think it really my passion for the game really exploded once you get into my years back in early in elementary school, where originally I was actually born in the Chicago area. And when I was about 7 years old, I moved over to the Kansas City area over in Missouri. And around there, I finally started to go to more games. Our family started taking us to a lot of Royals games. And the more that I got to watch the Royals, the more that I invested in that team and the more that I began to kind of watch baseball on a daily occurrence, especially with 2014 and 2015 going back to back World Series. I think that was really a big reason why I started to love the game of baseball. And hey, I've never looked back since. It's coming up on a decade now that every year I've been tracking these MLB teams on MLB game day or on my computer trying to watch the games, and sometimes ditching classes a little bit,
No, no.
no. But you always have fun with it. You always have fun with it. And that's what baseball's all about. Um,
Yeah, that World Series run was probably like the perfect time to just get you hooked.
yeah.
And then now It's been better the last couple of years, but I
Yeah.
mean that I'm sure that run was awesome. It's I wish the Twins had something like that when I was
It
older.
really was, I'll say that much, and yeah, so I think I moved to the Kansas City area in 2011. We started going to games in 2013, and so, starting going to the games in 2013, that's like the start of when they began
Yeah.
the rise up, and obviously 2014 World Series, 2015, they won it. So, really nice to kinda get into there. The Twins might do something like that eventually.
They'll
We
probably just continue to win around like 80 or so games every year and not want to pay everybody, but that's all right.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. Never say never. That's what I thought about the Royals for the last,
Mm,
7 years or so, all the way up until last year when they finally did something. So
hmm.
maybe there'll be that one year. Maybe.
Fingers crossed.
But of course, we're broadcasters as well, and we're not just baseball broadcasters, but we're baseball broadcasters, putting a little bit of different emphasis on those words. What got you into broadcasting in the first place?
Well, I mean, growing up, I felt like I loved every single sport. And I mean, as long as I can remember, I just had like adults around me, like saying like, "Oh, you love sports so much, like you should be a broadcaster. Like you love talking about it all the time." And I never really thought anything of it because I was so little. But as I got older and just continued to like love talking about sports, I got an offer from a local minor league hockey team that I'm sure a lot of people in Wisconsin Rapids are familiar with, the Minnesota Blue Hawks. And I announced a couple of seasons for them, and I had a ton of fun. And once I went down to Arizona State, I got in with a small NAIA college up in Surprise, Arizona, and did just about every sport except for hockey because they don't really play that as much down there. And I had so much fun that it's what I want to keep doing for as long as I can possibly do it.
Just continuing to kind of raise up like that. Can't say that I was quite the same way. I actually wanted to be an engineer all the way up until
Mm.
senior year of high school. So a little bit different on my front. But hey, we ended up in the same place. But yeah, for me it was actually, sophomore year of high school, hadn't done a lick of broadcasting, hadn't even considered it at all. But certain things happened with my classes, and we had an opening for this specialized class about broadcasting and film, and that was right around COVID year too. And I actually went into it wanting to do film because that's what my sister did, and it was kind of split up. First semester was broadcasting, second semester was going to be film. Well, second semester didn't happen because of the COVID-19 pandemic, so I only got the broadcasting side of it, but I absolutely loved it. Every single minute of it was just incredible for me, and so junior year, I kinda go back into it, and I'm just putting all of my hours into that at that point, and doing more and more broadcasting as much as I can. And at that point, I kind of start thinking, hey, this is something I love doing. It's something that I realized I thought I could bring happiness to people. I wanted to give them a space where they could go and have fun. I think that's what sports are all about. Obviously, wins and losses matter, but it matters if you have a good time. And I think broadcasting is a big way that you can help any fan that watches or listens into the game to kind of feel with you, and feel like they have a friend in you as well. And I wanted to provide that for people. So that's kind of where I saw myself growing throughout high school. And by senior year, I was like, man, I got to do this thing. So right at the start of a senior year of high school, I decided, you know what, I'm going to go into journalism now, completely switch over. And yeah, so ended up coming here to Mizzou, and well, broadcasting as much as I could to continue catching up on all that experience that apparently I missed out on, Fletcher.
Yeah, and it sounds like you went to the right spot because I mean, growing up wanting to be a broadcaster and journalist, I definitely looked at Mizzou, and they're one of the best, along with Arizona State. So
Oh yeah. Plenty of great schools out there though. Arizona State, another great school there. And there's a couple of people that I've already, met or talked to that have broadcasted at Arizona State. Really a great spot to go to. Obviously you talked about your previous experience here as the minor league hockey and then NAIA schools. You want to dive a little more into that?
Yeah, like I say, I worked with the Blue Ox for a couple of years, and that was, like I said, some of the best times of my life. It was during COVID, so I would have online class, and I would just drive all over the place to go to these different games, and I had a ton of fun. There was even part of that season that we had to play in Somerset, Wisconsin, and so I would drive all the way up from the Twin Cities to go to all the home games. But I had a ton of fun. One of my friends was the cameraman as well, and yeah, once I went to Ottawa University in Arizona for my broadcasting, um, they were the best to me. I was able to do basically all of their sports: football, basketball, baseball, volleyball, soccer, you name it. I did it down there, and that was a lot of fun. And yeah, I mean, now I'm back home in Minnesota. I'm working with the Neighborhood Sports Network, NSPN, doing bunch of local high school games around here, along with working with the Blue Ox a little bit as well. And it's been a ton of fun. I can't wait to continue it.
You got a favorite moment from any of your broadcasting experience?
Well, there was a just this spring. I called my first buzzer beater from half court in a high school game, and I was pretty dang excited. I'll have to send you the clip, but I nearly broke the headset I was on. I was yelling so loud because it was the craziest game I'd ever seen.
Hawks, but it's going to depend on where on the court that comes from. Everybody lined up around half court. Coddington gets it. Slind, dribble, shot. It goes! Noah Slind from half court. And the Hawks win it. A prayer for Chaska is answered.
Funnily enough, I actually had my first. Well, no, I've had like 3 game winners this year, and it's crazy enough to think about that. Never at the buzzer, always like 1 second before the buzzer goes
Hmm.
off. So I have yet to get that buzzer beating win, but a little bit of fun calls from myself.
Hmm.
One of the things that I've done in the past, of course, I have been at Mizzou, so I've gotten involved with their student radio station up here. So calling a few games a year for KCOU, which is that radio station, and for them, I've been able to get some great experience calling a lot of different Mizzou athletic sports, just as the student network, and had some great calls over the years. I know last year Mizzou basketball went to Minnesota, ended up coming back from down 20 and won it like right at the last second. So that
I was
was
watching
was
that
a
game.
fun one. That was a fun one. I was on the call for that one. Along with that, Mizzou versus LSU football. You go back to 2 years ago, that game, and a crazy finish to that one. It was like 42-30 or something. And one of those touchdowns was scored right at the end of the game that basically sealed it when it was like a pick six or something. So ultimately, it was a really close game up until the very end, but high scoring and lots of fun. Um, Trying to think of some of the other good ones. Oh yeah, the Mizzou Texas A&M men's basketball game this year, where Wade Taylor hit the game winner with like 1.8 seconds left on the clock or
Hmm.
something.
9 seconds to go. He breaks across the timeline. Garcia with it. 6 seconds. 5 seconds. Out wide. Wade Taylor from three. He's got it. 1.8 seconds left. Wade Taylor is taking the lead for Texas A&M.
And it was a crazy shot, so that was a fun one to be on the call for. And yeah, plenty of memories from me, but I also have gotten more experience broadcasting some high school sports just for this online broadcasting network here in the area, the Show Me Sports Network. And I've been calling a lot of one of this local high school's games. I try and cover for them as much as I can. That high school is called Hallsville. And um, that high school was one of the game winners that I was talking about, where I completely broke my voice for like 15 seconds, and it was maybe the worst call I've ever had, and I feel really bad about it because it was such a cool shot. But you know what? Every failure is a way to improve, and funnily enough, that Wade Taylor game winner was just about a week later, and I was able to nail that one. So felt pretty good about that. But outside of that,
Improvement.
I also called some games for the Sioux City Explorers as part of their broadcast team. I would last summer I was doing the middle 3 innings of the game on play-by-play, and the rest of the innings I was the color commentator with the lead broadcaster Dan Vaughn out there over in Sioux City, Iowa, kind of the northwest corner of that state. And then previous year I was there as well, but more doing some of that background stuff and doing all the prep work and kind of getting things ready for the great broadcasts that we had. But I think that's enough about me. Let's get back to you, Fletcher. Talking about baseball, and I've got some games coming up. Did you ever? I mean, you mentioned you played baseball growing up. Did you have a favorite baseball memory playing?
Playing baseball. Well, I always liked to pitch a lot when I was playing. So I had a complete game shutout one time. Not anything too special from like level wise, but I think I was probably in like seventh or eighth grade, and yeah, I pitched all 6 innings, which is what we were playing at that time, and yeah, I mean, I always loved being the pitcher, and one of my best friends was the catcher, so we always had a pretty good rapport, and I don't know, just had a lot of fun playing baseball back then.
Fair enough. It's kind of the same deal for me. I was um, on a recreational baseball team all through high school, but we used to play competitive in middle school. And then once it got to high school, none of us really wanted to play for the school teams. It wasn't necessarily that we weren't good enough. We just didn't really feel like spending that much time to actually,
Sounds
perform
like me.
our game. But we went to play recreationally and we kind of tore up the league. And they added in an all-star game basically our senior year for the league. And basically, this whole core group of guys that we'd had for 6 years basically all got sent to the all-star game. And just playing in that game with the guys, so much fun, and definitely something that I'll remember for a while. But I think that's enough about the past. You want to describe your broadcasting style like right now to somebody who's never heard you on the call? How would you kind of describe yourself?
Well, I feel like I mean, that's kind of a loaded question. I think
It
there's a
is.
lot of ways that you could go with this, but I don't try and have a specific style. I feel like I mean I watch so much, not just baseball but college basketball, football, everything, and I feel like I try and take little bits and pieces from the different announcers. But I'd say my style would kind of be just showing how excited I am to be there. Like when I'm listening to a game at home, I want to know that the broadcaster wants to be there and is just as emotionally invested in the outcome of the game as I am as the viewer at home. So when I'm broadcasting, I try and do that. So even if it's maybe not the closest game or maybe not the highest profile game, I'm still excited to be there, and I'm trying to show that on the broadcast. So I was just listening to Ian Eagle earlier doing some college basketball, and I feel like I model myself a lot after him because everything that he does, I feel like, is just so genuine, and he loves to do it every single day, no matter who he's broadcasting with or who he's broadcasting for.
Yeah, it sounds like you're definitely going to bring some excitement to the broadcasts. And well, one of the kind of easy cop out answers I could say is just, oh yeah, I want to do the same as you. I'll try and change it up a little bit. But for me, one of my biggest deals, kind of going back to earlier, I want to sound like a friend to the viewer, to anyone that's listening in. I want to make sure it sounds conversational. I want to kind of bring you into the broadcast. I'll have a couple jokes throughout the broadcast. For those of you who tune in, you'll catch on to them. I try and have fun on the broadcast. That's the easiest way to kind of to put it. And obviously, you want to know the action. That's kind of the basic go to for play by play broadcasting. But I think what kind of puts me aside from everyone else is I'll go out there and I'll have fun with it, and I'll try and let you guys have fun, even if it's a game that gets out of hand, one that's a blowout either way. I still want to have a reason for you to be tuned in, and one of the best ways that I can do that is just by talking to you guys. I think that's one of the best things that you can do as a broadcaster. But of course, that's still about a month away until the start of the season. Well, a month and a half, I guess. Like I said, pretty off with my take right now. About a month and a half away until the start of the season, but I know I'm looking forward to it. Fletcher, I know you're looking forward to it. What excites you about working for the Rafters this upcoming year?
Well, I think first, just being with the Northwoods League in general is always exciting. It's such a high profile league, and not everybody gets to be as lucky as we are to work with the Rafters and in the Northwoods League. So that certainly excites me, and just to go and experience Wisconsin Rapids as a town as well. I want to kind of feel what it's all about, and yeah, I mean, I'm living more in the Twin Cities here, just west of the Twin Cities. So I'm a little bit more used to the city living there in Phoenix. So I wanna feel like a little bit of a different vibe, and that's what I'm excited for going to Wisconsin Rapids this year.
Well, I think one thing that excites me every year about, working in baseball is just being surrounded by a bunch of people that love the game. And I think that's one thing that excites me more than anything is just getting back to being working with a bunch of people that have an enjoyment and have a love for the game of baseball because I know that's something that I do. I want to be surrounded by it 24/7. Also, of course, I like other sports as well. And Fletcher, you mentioned your love for other sports, and I do too. But baseball, it's just got a certain something about it. And they always say, how can you not be romantic about baseball? It's hard not to be. Hard not to be. Gotta love being up there and being surrounded by the game. But we talk about the start of the season. It starts on May 26th, and that is super exciting to get looking forward to. May 26th, the Rafters start the season against Green Bay. The Rockers will be a fun game. They've got the first game is at home, the second game against the Rockers on the road. They'll be in Green Bay May 26th, May 27th. Super fun to kind of get started on this and look ahead to the start of the season. What are you anticipating for the start of this year, Fletcher?
Well, certainly when you're playing Green Bay and a team in such close proximity, you want to play well against them, against your rivals in any sport. And last year they were, an even 500, 6-6 versus Green Bay, and they finished pretty similar in the standings. So you certainly want to get off to a hot start against them. And I'm definitely looking forward to seeing a lot of the young players on this Raptors team. There's a lot of incoming freshmen or even returning players that are going to be sophomores. And I think a lot of it's going to hinge on how good this pitching staff is. And from what I can tell, there's a number of players that are going to be really helpful in that part of the game.
Oh yeah, and really exciting to kind of see how things are going. And if you're interested in some of the players that have been announced, feel free to go to our Twitter account on the Wisconsin Rapids. It's Rapids Rafters on Twitter. That's our tag that you can find. And if you want to go through, you can find all of the player announcements through there. All 28 players that have been announced so far. You can go ahead, look back through all of that, and catch up on anything that you might have missed in the off season. And a lot has gone on. Of course, plenty of returning players, and it's fun to get to look at who's returning. But it's also fun to get to look at some of the new guys on there. And there are a lot of new players on this team as well, as there is every year. Um, and I think with that, there brings a certain level of excitement because there's a little bit of uncertainty, but it seems like it can only go forward from what the Rafters did last season. And last season, you look at it, they went 35-35, finished third place in the Great Lakes West. An exciting season. Ultimately, didn't make it to the postseason, and I think that's the goal for this year. And I definitely see that they have the possibility to do that. It is a tough division. I'll say that much. It's a tough subdivision with Wausau and Madison both in there. Those are going to be two tough squads. Madison, of course, having beat Wausau 2-1 in the Great Lakes West subdivision series last year before falling to Kalamazoo in the division championship game. But those two squads are going to be tough. And of course, Wausau, we're going to be playing them second series of the season. That's immediately following Green Bay. So that game will be May 28th and 29th. 28th is here in Wisconsin Rapids. 29th will be on the road at Wausau. But of course, another rivalry game that everyone is going to be looking forward to. Those are those are some of the guys that you're looking at as, okay, that's going to be a tough team. And I think we all know that Wausau is going to be tough. Madison's going to be tough this year. And I think early part of the season, you're going to be able to tell a lot about this team. Obviously, there's plenty that goes on throughout the season, but it will be fun, just looking ahead to, just about a month and a half away right now.
Yeah, when you mentioned Wausau, I mean, there were some struggles last year against them, just 3-9. But Wausau, one of the best teams in the entire league, 50-19 was their record a year ago, and I mean they're going to be tough to beat. But when you have them that early in the season, the games are just that much more critical. You have to jump on them before maybe they have time to gel, and it's really going to tell, like you said, a lot about this Rafters team where if coach can get them all locked in and lockstep early on and off to a hot start, especially against one of the best teams from last year, it can really get some momentum going and really push them towards the top of the standings.
Yeah, well, let's go ahead and kind of talk about, some of the things that you could get excited about heading into the season as for looking at the team. Of course, first off, let's talk about the slogan for this year. Ziggy came up with it. Grab an oar. Hashtag grab an oar. Every time that you're rooting on the Rafters, we want you to grab an oar. Join us as we take our journey down the river and hopefully end up at a championship. But you talk about that expression and Fletcher, what are your thoughts on that? A fun one.
Well, I mean, instantly the first time I saw it, the first thing that has to come to my mind as being from Minnesota, and maybe it won't excite everybody from Wisconsin Rapids as much, but it's PJ Fleck and row the boat. I mean, it feels like a very very similar slogan. Obviously, PJ made that up about his son who passed away unfortunately, and it's I think it's such a great story that PJ does that, and it really has brought the whole team together. And obviously, they're the Gophers, but they wear an oar on their helmet. It's really taken over for the team, and I hope that I hope that this slogan can really kind of bind the team together as well this year and create that same sort of culture as well.
Yeah, it's to hopefully get all these guys on the same boat and all of them, paddling along and pushing it forward. I think that's the big deal here. But we only have a little bit of time left on this episode. I think it's time to go ahead and talk some of the fun stuff for this upcoming season. Throughout the year, there's going to be plenty of great opportunities, a ton of promotions throughout the year, and that's exactly what we're going to be talking about. Some of the big ones that we have announced here. It'll be a lot of fun to talk about them. And one of them being, of course, announced a little bit ago, the Mashers alter ego. That one excites me. I think that's going to be a super fun game to get to see these new uniforms out there. Already posted them again on that Twitter account that we mentioned earlier. Make sure to go check them out. But it will certainly be a fun night. What's your thoughts about that, Fletcher?
Well, first, our staff did such a good job with that alter ego and making the whole logo and jerseys. I'm super excited for them, just like you said. And I mean, I just love when the minor league teams and the Northwoods League teams have these alter egos, because not that we don't love the Rafters and their jerseys and their logos, but it gives us a little bit of a different flavor, and I think it's going to be paying a really good homage to the history of Wisconsin Rapids and Central Wisconsin as well.
Yeah, you got to love the story behind it. Couple of the other promotions, and Fletcher, I want you to kind of tune in or chime in if you want to talk about some of these. But we got Anyone But Kelsey Night, another one that should be a lot of fun. Halfway to Halloween, Kids TV Takeover Night, Renew Your Vows Night, and ACW Wrestling Night. And I know you were talking to me before the show about your love for wrestling. You want to talk about that one a little bit?
I definitely do. As much as I love the Anyone But Kelsey Night, I have to promote my wrestling here. I'm just getting into WWE maybe in the last year or so. I got into it down in college, so as soon as I saw that one come up, I've been really fired up and looking forward to it. As like I say, just getting into wrestling and still learning the ins and outs. I've gone to a couple of shows in person, but this will certainly be one of the best ones and I'm super looking forward to that night.
I wonder if we'll see anything different from you on the broadcast for that night.
I might have. Hey, you might see me in the ring. Don't challenge me.
That'd be a lot of fun. Well, one of the other things that's a lot of fun, concessions. How can you not love going to the ballpark and getting some concessions? A couple of new food items that were announced. We've got a couple of fun ones. We got some tater rounds, which are basically a bunch of tasty hash browns put into a ring, and I think it's going to be great to taste. I'm always a potato fan, and I think it really would fit if you're going out on masher night, especially. But along with that, we've got some new deep fried green beans, which should be really tasty, and then of course mac and cheese bites. And how can you not love mac and cheese?
Yeah, when you're talking about Wisconsin, who doesn't think of cheese? But the one that definitely stands out to me is the deep fried green beans. Like I say, from Minnesota, so Minnesota State Fair is a massive deal here, and it's half of a joke and half of not that you could deep fry anything at the state fair. So deep fried green beans, I'm definitely looking forward for that.
Should be some good concessions this year. So make sure to make it out to the ballpark, as opening day is on May 26th. So make sure to make it out to the ballpark for that. But that's going to do it for today's episode. So thank you so much for tuning in to On the River with the Raptors. It's been episode 3. I've been Austin Thomas, your radio broadcaster, joined by Fletcher Anderson, the TV broadcaster for this season. Thank you and have a great rest of your day.